uh, us native or indigenous people are in the position we are at this moment, at this time, in this, and also all of us around this world, what where what we can expect, the good and the bad.
Aloha, and welcome to Healers' Voices, the podcast that brings you the healing heartbeats of Maui and around the world. I'm your host, Jessica Brazil, and together we embark on a journey to explore the inspiring stories of individuals who are making a profound impact on both local and global levels. From the powerful healing of Maui, we are here to amplify the voices of healers, visionaries, and change makers. We believe in the transformative power of dialogue to chart a future where all life thrives, living in harmony with the natural world and embodying the spirit of aloha. Aloha, Chief Lee Plenty Wolf. Welcome back to Healers' Voices. Really grateful to have you here and to continue learning about Indigenous wisdom and how we relate both spiritually and in the physical world. So really excited to talk with you today about some of these transitions we're going through as a collective and how we relate to technology in the spirit world, and how Indigenous people such as yourself look at and approach our relationship with spirit and nature. So welcome back. In opening up
Oh,
the space, would you like to open up with any type of prayer or um, intention for our time together?
okay. I'll say a prayer for all of us. Uh, Wea toka sila kansa kaya ang pete kile ya taku ingung la kok te kile na ya otkala. Takwaste ta hiukte na takwaste na takuku ya yeshi tushne hena ingung la kapina. Toshke kel hen kichanya pikte ki hena ya cha ingung la kokte. Na taku uk hena ya cha tukashla hena ya hochwaste na hochshichon kha ja, i właśnie heta samia e chunkopina shicho hena e toshke hena kichonyo kitekecha hena imogla kapitalo tunkash lo tunkacha e oshula pina ele onke po oya te kushi chalayo omse chuhi chichelo le petuki chitu homitakasa.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Chief Lee, how do you believe that life is like interconnected between like the different realms or dimensions? Can you orient us to that relationship?
We believe that we are all related. Everything that has a spirit, we're all related. Um, That includes the Mother Earth, the air, the water. They're all alive. We're all related. Our relatives from different worlds, we're related. In the different worlds, we're also related to them. So everything in these universes, we are related to. And Tsongkhapa Khanskanka is our um, father.
Okay. And so, when it comes to this understanding of life from your cultural and spiritual perspective, can you tell us a little bit about how has this changed over time? We've seen a lot of changes systemically and in the world. And a lot of people are looking towards Indigenous leaders to remember and reconnect. So I'm curious to hear from you, from your perspective, how this spiritual connection has been impacted today, this relationship to all of life.
Uh, most of it, the understanding has always been there, except for a lot of people. They don't understand, or they haven't been taught how to deal, or how to look at life itself in a way as we were all related. Some people think they're above us. Some people think they're better than us. And with the understanding we get from Sangashla creators that we're all equal. We're all equal as a little ant that's crawling on the ground. We're at the same level as that little ant. or whatever else is on the ground, that's smaller. We're all equal as that. And so the understanding, once you understand that, then you can live in harmony and understand and all live in beauty, really. Except a lot of people just don't get that part. And so that's why the world is the way it is now.
And you've spoken before about this doctrine of discovery and how that's historically impacted Indigenous people. Can you tell us a little bit about how that is still present in modern society and how this impacts this interconnectedness and equality between life?
Yes, the Doctrine of Discovery is a way of dealing with the way superior, they think that the superior beings here on this earth deal with certain people, and they use that as an excuse in order to take control or take countries and kill people. And that's how through time it's always been there through time. When other countries invade another country, it's been used. They use God to justify the act of taking over the country and killing as many people as they want. And it's come down through different the time periods all the way until it came to us. And that's how we're at this position we are now, because uh, they use God as an okay to eliminate us. And but prayer works. We're still here, so uh, prayer works. Prayer is what we have. It's all we have that works.
I'm so grateful that you're still here. We can, glean this wisdom from you that has been lost in so many communities and cultures. I'm curious how you see this, hierarchy and racism contributing to spiritual disconnection in our world today. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Well, like I said, a lot of people they don't understand the relationship we have with everything, everything that has life. And some people think they're above others, and that's where um, they were taught that in order to take or be above other people, then they have to treat other people in a way where they're better than they think they're better than them. And that's where racism starts, because nobody want ever the people want to be the people that want to be better than others are the ones that work in a way where they use well, they don't even see themselves as racists, but they are in the way they treat other people.
Mm. So in a way, this approach of ongoing colonization is not just about lands, but is about minds and spirits as well, and creating separateness.
Right,
Okay.
right, and it's happening today. I mean, I notice it not all the time, but I notice it when I go out there and deal with the public anywhere, grocery store, gas station, clothing store, or park, and go anywhere, and then a lot of people are disconnected. And some of them, maybe they're not racist, or maybe they don't think they're racist, but to me they are in a way where once we can ignore each other, then there's something not right. There's the respect is gone, and so that's where a lot of the problems lie, and a lot of these problems start from that, because they don't understand how to be good to one another. when I was little, we used to get up and say hello, how in our language, how to everybody, and then shake hands and respect people, even if you didn't know them. But now, nowadays, I live in an apartment complex, and I go out there and I only know maybe two, three neighbors. And other than that, no way. Sometimes when I say hello, nobody they don't respond back because they're afraid. They're either afraid or they don't like you, and so that's how they act. And the whole world is that way. It's like if I say hello to somebody, they think that there's something wrong with me for them for trying to be nice.
Do you see some of the hurried pace and the sense of urgency and constant crisis contributing to this disconnection or living from this state of fear?
It has something. Yeah, I think it probably has a lot to do with it, really, because there's only the majority of the people are programmed to not waste time and focus on whatever the objective is, job wise or the future, and so they're programmed into doing things as fast as possible and ignoring other people because they don't really matter to them because they don't have time to give them any time to say hello or whatever. And that's the system is built now. Society is dependent on this thing called money, and so it's spread all over the world. And so without that, do nothing. You can, but you'd barely be surviving because there's still a lot, the hunting that and even that is controlled. You have to have a license. You have to have, you can't have just any gun or rifle, and that's controlled. So it's all control, licensing, and you have to get an okay just to shoot one animal, for survival. And whereas a long time ago, we didn't even need that because survival is survival. You need the hides for clothing, you need the meat, you need the bones to make tools. And it's not like that no more. And also throughout the time, a lot of these animals that were okay to live off of started getting sick. They're starting to get different diseases. So it wasn't good for us to eat. But they're out there, it's still out there. Mad cow disease, the black, what is that? The black, um, what's that? The really bad illness that goes around, the black plague. At one time the prairie dogs even had that. So we it's like we can't trust in eating just anything because we don't know what kind of illness it has or disease it has.
Mm-hmm.
That's another added on thing. After you get an okay to shoot anything or kill anything for survival, and even growing crops, the same thing there. There's additives in that, and there's some things that they shouldn't have played with in order to make things bigger, and it does make them bigger, but it's not the original. It's no
Mm-hmm.
good for you.
So all of these like isms that create a hierarchy between species, between genders, between races, between the different human subtleties or life form subtlety differences from an indigenous perspective that you were raised is that all of life was equal. And now in the cultures that we live in, there's a huge focus on differences, and we see a lot of species that are sick or unwell, humanity as well, right? The earth is really suffering. We can see that all around us with the way the waters are and the lands are. I'm curious if there's spiritual practices that you believe can help dismantle the structure and structures of racism. And I want to touch on this dependency that, has been built into these systems that, really put us in a momentum of dependency for this monetary relationship, for this pursuit of monetary relationship. But if we were to step into taking steps towards dismantling the structures of racism, what spiritual practices would you invite in to begin that process?
Well, we need to go back to the original ceremonies that we used to do, and we have to include everybody. I know that there's a lot of differences in what who should be involved. Since I was little, all the way up till now, I still encounter the people who don't want to include other people because of what has happened in the past. Well, we can't control the past, and we can't undo what was wrong. Um, and a lot of it has to do with understanding of the doctrine of discovery. And people should, the best one that I have listened to and explained to the point is the Doctrine of Discovery by Mark Charles. You can look him up on YouTube, and it's only like a 40 minute. I think it's like 40 minutes, 30 minutes or 40 minutes. But he gets to the point, and you can understand it real well. Why? What led us here to this point? And so the prayer and ceremonies, I think, are the only way that we're going to survive. We're going to live because Creator who created everything and other people and other planets, and so it's an understanding of we are all created equal. We're all at the same level. Now, if everybody understands that and prays together, this will be a world will be a lot a beautiful place to live. And a lot of it has to do with the 12 virtues and values that we live by.
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult. It's hard to live by them. But if we all can study that and we all can try to live by that, then this world will be a beautiful place. Right now, there's a war going on. There's a few wars going on, but there's a war going on. Well, it's not a war. I look at it as a massacre where another country goes and kills innocent people, civilians, and mainly children. And children are sacred in Durwakha. And to understand that we have to treat each other equally, but yet it's okay. It's okay with some people to do that, and because it's a retaliation for what the others have done also. We all have a time to come to in front of Creator God, Tukashila, and then we get judged, and then He's the only one that can judge us, and looks at our past and looks at what the beautiful, positive things that we did in life, and also the negative things that we've done in life. And if we've taken a life from the gift of life from another person, then he won't let you go to the other side with your relatives. Those are the things that we believe, And so the understanding the world has to understand a lot more than just being focusing on killing one another and getting wealthy, because you can't, once you pass, once you go to the other side, once you try to go to the other side, you can't take anything with you anyway.
Mm,
We only have our spirit, and that's it. Even we leave
right.
our bodies here on earth.
Mhm. So when you speak to spirits from other dimensions and relatives from other worlds, how do they interact in our lives today? I hear when it comes to death, there's the soul or spirit from your perspective. It's not able to move to the other side, or that it's maybe not elevated into a more comfortable spiritual realm. Can you talk a little bit about spirits from other dimensions and relatives from other worlds?
The relatives do come, and they do help us, and they help us in a way where they even come after us when it's our time to go to the other side, and that is beautiful because, it's beautiful over there. I've made it over there and came back, so I know how happy people are over there.
Mhm.
But like I said, we have to do good. Is this is a stopping point where it's like a test to see if we're going to do bad or good, or if we're going to focus on getting to the other side with our relatives. I know I'd
Mhm.
like to be with my mother and father on the other side. And, I went to see my father, and so it's there, and I know that it's beautiful over there. Except that a lot of people don't know that, and they don't hear stories about. Well, maybe they did, but they don't hear stories enough. Hear stories about the other side, and so when they either get sick or when it's close to that time, they get scared. Of course, you're going to get scared because you don't know, you're going into the unknown. But once you know where you're going, and once you know that you're going to be with the ones you love, the ones that have gone on before you, then it feels good. You're not scared. You keep preparing yourself through prayer and being good to other people, helping
Mhm.
other people as much as possible. So those are the things that we have to learn, or we have to teach other people in order for them to understand that, hey, if I do good here, then my chances of me being with ones that have gone before me, the chances are more of a chance to get there instead of staying back or going someplace else.
Mhm. Yeah. So, how do you feel like these spirits and our relatives can, help us in a time of crisis or transformation?
Can yeah, they sometimes there are certain ones that come and help us in ceremony, and then there are certain relatives that come back to check on us,
Hmm.
and so when we understand that, and when we experience that, it
Hmm.
just sort of um, we know that the possibility of us being together with them is really good if once we experience those things like that. But a lot of people don't even do that. Some people who didn't know that they have made that, didn't know that their life ended here on earth, or if somebody takes their life, or if you've taken your own life. It's a gift from the Creator, that it's this life that He has given you. And so when you misuse it, or end it, uh, the chances of that gift, the chances of you going to the other side is not there. That's why there's a lot of spirits here on earth. Well, a lot of people call them ghosts. They're spirits that are stuck here on earth, And
Mm-hmm.
some of them who are really good but haven't crossed over need help getting over there through ceremony. We can get them over there. Uh, but then the ones that have taken lives or has committed suicide, they're stuck here. They're here for they'll just stay here on this earth.
Mm. Is that how contributing to some of the disruption that's occurring in the world?
Oh yeah,
Spirits
yeah.
that get
Like I
stuck.
said, there's a time when you're going to be judged.
Hmm.
Yep.
So how do
Or
you?
you start.
So I'm curious, how does the medicine wheel kind of fit into this practice with the spirit world? You mentioned ceremony and prayer that we can support spirits that are stuck, or even spirits that are probably still alive. Elevate their consciousness to be more in tune or connected, or move into another level of awareness. Can you share a little bit about the medicine wheel and its role in this indigenous connection to the spirit world?
Um, it 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 shows the four, the sacred four, the four different directions, the spirits, the winds, the four parts of life, the four parts of ceremony. It represents that medicine wheel, the togetherness, the round. It's in a circle, so whatever is it within that circle will always be a circle to come back to where you start. There's a start and there's a finish, but you always come back to that. And then that connection in the middle. That connection in the middle is where we're supposed to be connected, and the Creator is focused in that center. We always have to stay focused on that center through prayer, through ceremony. But the people don't understand these simple little things about this connection, this the circle of life. They don't understand that because that's why I said people will have to. We need a series of teaching people all these like the 12, the seven sacred rites, or the 12 virtues and values. We'd have to take time to teach the people so they can understand, even the medicine wheel, so they can better understand. There's a lot of meaning to a medicine wheel. People have used it in different, even in therapy, and even in counseling and life coaching. They use that, and they use different colors for different directions. But yeah, they use that as an example to teach, to better understand what they're trying to teach them. So the basic ones are the ones that are we use, the four directions of the medicine wheel, and it connects with everything in life. So when you get a feather, you use a medicine wheel on it. Eagle plum, you use a medicine wheel on. Eagle plum, the women get, and eagle feather, the men get. They have medicine, yeah, and so it's that connectedness, with our even our feathers, because that's an honor.
Mm-hmm. And so when somebody's connecting to all of life, acknowledging all, at least the directions and the seasons and the timing would be just like the seasons have timing, so does all of life has its place and purpose and timing. Would that be a place for, some of the newer listeners to step into developing an understanding of?
Yes, even simple understanding of the four, of the four, the sacred four, and the seven. The seven basically is the four directions, the spirits that come and help us, the creator, God, or the creator that's above, Tunkashila, and then our grandmother or Mother Earth. And so there's a seventh that we have to always hold first and respect them and in prayer. And
Mhm.
the four is just as simple as like you said, the four seasons or the four parts of life. When you come from infancy to the what is that, the preteen, the teenage years, the adulthood, and then the old age was four. So, and then it
Mhm.
comes back into a circle because you start out when you're born as a baby, you will start out using diapers. Um, all the way around till you come old age and you go back to diapers. Well, some people do, but when you didn't make it that far, that's what happens. And so the understanding of the four seasons, the four parts of man, the four directions, four winds. There's a lot of fours. Four in ceremony. There's four. We have to always do four. We can't do five and can't do three. Three, you're not doing something complete, the complete, I should say. Five, you shouldn't be doing that. You're asking for more of whatever
Mhm.
is you're trying to do. So
Mhm.
once people understand simple things like that, and maybe even nowadays the colors that we use. A long time ago, we didn't use the colors. We used earth paints, but the colors were still, used back then when they dye porcupine hair, porcupine quills to represent to put inside that medicine wheel to make that medicine wheel. There are certain plants they use dye. So it's a longer process, but see, things like that are lost. I mean, nobody does them anymore, and we need to bring them back. We need to bring back a lot of songs and a lot of ceremonies.
Mhm.
We need to go back to the basics.
Yeah. It seems so basic and interesting that that would be removed from the culture or society. And we're definitely seeing the residue of losing that connection. And so we have a lot to learn. The collective has a lot to learn about these basic teachings to come back into harmony. So
Mhm.
even just you saying that number seven, right? It's like incomplete without including not just in the circle, but also above and below and the center, and recognizing the spiritual connections to all of those and how they relate to the natural world.
Right.
At least that's what I just heard you express. So when we're looking at this environmental destruction or social inequality, I kind of envision that as getting stuck somewhere in that process. Like you said, maybe the five or maybe the six, and not completing that full connection to the journey. So stepping into ceremony and relationship with sacredness helps us balance
Hmm.
our inner world, and in doing so, balancing the outer world. We've spoken before
Hmm.
about the changes with artificial intelligence in the spirit world, and there's a lot more technology that's wavelengths that are moving into the spirit world, or the wind or the sky or the air element, and the spirits that are in that realm. And I'm curious to hear from you a little bit on that topic.
Okay. The sacredness of ceremonies in the spirit world are so powerful that they don't need to be protected. There's a reason why things are happening the way they're happening nowadays. This AI, when it first came out, I had a conversation with a scientist, and we talked about the black hole and the universe and the space and all the problems of this world and the problems that can be solved and in certain ways. And then uh, didn't uh, he didn't think about AI. Um, he he it seems like he Maybe he just didn't want to think about it, I think. But anyway, I mentioned to him, I was like, what about AI? Well, what's going to happen in the future? And there he said, I didn't think about that. He said, and then he said, um, well, there's a lot of good that's going to come from AI, but then there might be some negative things from the AI. And I said, yeah, there are going to be a lot of negative things that are coming out of that. It might be self-destruction, of humanity. And he says, well, when we head that towards that part, we can always shut it off. And I said, I looked at him and I said, what happens if he doesn't want to get shut off? Because well, now he knows so much information that he's above us and how to get out of any situation that AI itself is in. So if he doesn't want to get shut off, then it's hopeless. We have to go by what AI has either recommended or has the way he's led people into that part. Um, it is good in a way where a lot of illnesses might be solved. They might have cures for it. Uh, they might find AI might help them find cures for certain diseases, or another education wise. They might be more educated in solving problems. But I think that also, um, with the good, always comes the bad. And I think that there's bad people, or people greed is one of the words that I should use, with some of these people, and that's gonna cause havoc on the rest of humanity, really. And so when it gets to that part, uh, the world is going to have a hard time dealing with it. And I just hope I don't see. Well, I wish I can always be here to protect all the innocent people, but we can't. There's a reason why. And through history, it's always been proven that no matter what, we will have to move on to the other. We have to make our journey, move on.
Yeah. So this artificial life expression of and how that influences us will likely take on some uh, less than helpful expressions along the way. And hearing your caution and your wisdom in um, allowing something like that to have so much power over humanity and nature, or influence. So,
Well, it's not like we're allowing it, because it's going to get to that certain point where it's not going to allow us to allow anything. It will
yeah,
decide for itself. That's where the
exactly.
problem will start. Right?
Because it has been given that much freedom without
Yeah,
there being monitoring, and its
yeah.
programming has
Even
been,
gathering information from us.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
This is a
probably
fast.
listening to us right now.
I'm sure, with or without our consent. And I think this topic
Right,
of consent
right.
is really important because we're seeing it come up in so many areas. I think it's a very alive topic with women, where we haven't been given our and Indigenous and vulnerable people. That this whole topic, it all intertwines, right? With who's been
Hmm.
given power to decide over what happens um, with other people and other life forms. So we've lost this connection. Humanity as a whole, or a large amount of humanity has lost this connection to this sovereignty and this indigenous nature, natural state of being. And so I'm grateful that you can guide
us in this topic that can live beyond just a conversation between you and I, but can be heard by others to hopefully find their way through these new, I guess, distractions or challenges, to step into ceremony, to pause and make eye contact and make connection with people, to reassess what the hurry is and what really needs to be scheduled, and maybe what needs to be unscheduled. And
Mm.
and I'm just really grateful for the wisdom that you bring. And one of the things that really landed with me when we step into ceremonies is a whole business of ceremony happening now, right? Even healthcare is
Right.
getting into it. And so it felt so nourishing to, that some of the traditions you've been taught in the financial exchange isn't allowed because it's too sacred. And so the exchange has to happen in a different way. And I just really appreciate that. So I guess I want to just plant a seed of medicine with our listeners to consider that when they're looking for places to step into sacred space. We understand a lot in life, almost everything is a transactional situation, but when we can and where we can, stepping into the most sacred of sacred, where we can actually step aside and place the transactions elsewhere, so that we can really come to the real true essence, real experience the clean purification essence of our soul and our spirit and the spirit world around us. Just would love to open up a moment for any closing thoughts or areas that you'd like to touch on to allow this very wide topic to come to a place of wholeness, at least for today.
Yeah. Like I said, I think we all have to start somewhere to better understand life itself, and even starting out simple, understanding the four directions, or the seven sacred, or the values. I should say the values. Once you understand, I think that's the main part. If you understand the 12 virtues and values, and study each and every one of them and live by that, I think that's a start. And I think if people can spread that the same knowledge on to other people, even the young people, to live by the 12 virtues and values, life would be beautiful. And then all other things will come they'll come whenever they're ready for it. And but then there's always going to have to be that beginning, and I think that beginning would be there,
Mm-hmm.
through prayer,
Mm-hmm.
love, love, love also.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love one another. So
Yeah.
starting with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we have to come to that center and resource the love. So, just in closing, can you
Yeah.
just list the names of the 12 Lakota values? And I'm going to also plant the seed that our listeners can listen to your episode with us on the 12 Lakota values in detail, which we've already spoken to. Would you just list those in closing?
The Lakota values, and usually I have to look at a list that I have, but I know that through thought and through what comes into me, what comes from, or what I remember, is a start. Which one? Number one is respect. Hold on. Respect. Number two, compassion. And number three is um, uh, courage. And then wisdom. And then uh,
Humility, right? Generosity.
sacrifice. Huh?
Oh, I was just.
Generosity, sacrifice. And there's one more.
Mhm.
And usually if I don't go by the list, I have to respect a lot.
Put you on
Uh,
the spot. There's
yeah, I
we
know. We got to six.
that's
We
okay.
got
We can
six
refer.
of the seven.
I know the order's important,
Yeah.
so I can
Well,
stretch your memory on it. We can refer our listeners to the podcast where we get into detail on those. But they all have such an
as
important.
many
What was
yeah, as
that?
many times as I've gone over them, I should know it by heart. But for some reason, I always have issues with it. Maybe it's I can't say it's all because I'm old, but I'm not because I'm not old. No,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's because they always say, you know, you have mind problems as you get older. Uh,
Hmm.
but you know, it takes a lot of practice.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. Yes. Well, would you like to close with any final prayer or comment?
yeah, I'm gonna pray that we get better understanding that all people who are listening um, can start with. You know, we always start in meetings and talks and events and whatever we do, we always start with a prayer, and we also end with a prayer. And in that way, the Creator can focus on us and say, okay, well, they need better help and better understanding, or help in being protected. Woke you, you know, to help them. I, I'd say that the prayer, I'm going to say a prayer for everyone. And that, like I said, there has to be a start to everything that we do, and to start things with a prayer. Um, at this time, I'm going to say a prayer for everybody and their families and their friends and their community and the country and the world, and pray that you know, all this unnecessary killing across will stop, and that people will just be good to one another, help one another, you know, and just help cure some of these illnesses.
Hmm.
Yeah. Ja, het elkaar gaat gewoon koosje op in. Ja, dat ja, de onitje kilo hakina, o iwan go kokila. Ja, het elkaar den aan neslo de na nishna ni wa kan cha om se cha wat choni pi na niecha. De organized to tuktani don kha tuktani apshni ne shogna tibni chapi ne shogna tagni utapshni na wa check na tibu check. Natsukashi le hongeate da ku kachni rokte ki hena cha yatsukea hena ya oi cheki ki hena taku ko hena ablezo ki tsukate ke hecha ya tsuklexi long hena hechana isamia hena oi on speech ki hena ya le akasi tomne ali la taku ke o stikta cha on se oi chishi. Atsukashi Kantanka le Jessica Tuaheki Tipi no that Dakwan ya Ian Kion Kantankashi la Heli lost Chaya Oshilapina ya oke na kopo na Atsukashi oke apo Atakuko ya Chionke na China Nanko Echitkia ya Onkama mi Pitaku washteste and Atsukashi la Taku washte wanya kapina Taku washte no kompikte kina chon Wocheki harmonipi. Atsukashi la hom se chokmo yichiche. Kwakata ya wakshanja kumshi. Wana wichona ikigla kapan Atsukashi la hena. Ya la inaji ya kinkta chum se huiba. Atsukashi la khatkamka hena na la ya kuja hena. Hena oshicha na hena. Osha na pina hena taku kina tatoshki kina piumi ya pikte kina cha. Hoyi chiche lo Atsukashi la khatkamka. Ja, hom se chon hoye chicho. Ja, motita kwe pina o khola we chon pina. Ja, tuk tek de oya tiki on kupik tek ha na. Ja, ta ku ku ya no jio ha na o Opila, I want to like a picture, home such a way, chichelo. Monshola, Potrankas, Lampeto, Asteria, Kavan, Opila, Tranke, chichelo. I had chat all the home in that case.
Thank you so much for the medicine of your prayers, the medicine of your lineage, medicine of your wisdom, and may all of our listeners really receive with both the energy and the wisdom of our time together. So thank you so much, and we look forward to having you back again.
Oh.
Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey through the heartbeats of healing. We hope that Healers Voices has filled your heart with inspiration and brought you closer to the spirit of aloha. As we conclude this episode, we invite you to continue this important conversation in your own life. Let these stories and insights resonate within you and inspire change in your own community and beyond. Remember, the power of healing is within all of us, and by working together, we can bring positive change to our world. Let's move forward with compassion, understanding, and a commitment to living in harmony with nature and one another. We'll be back with more incredible stories and voices of healing from Maui and around the world. Until then, please remember to follow and like us to support this continued raising of awareness and continue practicing, embodying, and spreading the aloha spirit to make a difference in the world. Mahalo for listening to Healers Voices. We'll meet again soon.